Hey everyone, Rob Zweerman here, and today I wanted to get this video out to you talking about goal setting. It has been a while since my last publication. I certainly haven't been as consistent as I wanted to be here on YouTube and on my blogs, but I think today is a great time for a video about goal setting because we are in January 2020. Welcome to a new decade, guys. January is usually the time when people are setting New Year's resolutions, where entrepreneurs, for those of you who are in business, are reevaluating their goals, setting themselves up for success. Most people are pumped in January. The holidays are over. It's time to get back in the game, right? So this is the question that I'm being asked over and over again by my team and by my students. How do you set effective and goals that are achievable, right? And I've experimented with this a lot, and it came down for me to a very simple framework that I currently apply to our teams. And whenever we set internal goals for the business and for my students, when we work on their business and we set specific and measurable targets for them to achieve so we can work on the results, it comes down to one simple framework that I call the goal pyramid, right? I've drawn it out on the board here, and I know my drawings are probably not the best, so I want you guys to just go along with it. Consider this a goal pyramid with a top and a bottom and the action steps in between, right? Very simple, but highly effective. And I'm going to jump in this shortly, but let me start off by saying I believe that no person should set more than 3 goals. I will repeat that, 3 goals at the time. The reason for this is I see constantly over and over again that people come up with this list of 8 to 10 goals, right? Because they're in this creative process and they have all these ambitions and dreams and things that maybe they didn't accomplish in the years before, so they think they will just throw that in there. So it comes down to a list of 8 to 10 goals. But the problem with that is that, time is passing so quickly, and a lot of these goals are probably not the ultimate goal. It might be a goal that is part of a larger goal. Another problem with that is that most of these goals are not realistic. And this is human nature. The more we add to our plate, the more overwhelmed we become, and the more we tend to give up, right? So I have experienced this myself, and over the years I was able to perfect it. So I'm just gonna, provide this framework to you from my perspective, and you're free to apply this to the best of your ability. But this is what works for me. This is what works for my teams and my clients as well. So set no more than 3 high-level goals, right? So I mentioned this earlier, not a smaller goal that is part of like some larger outcome. No, high-level goals. And once you accomplished those 3 high-level goals, obviously feel free to add another goal or a couple of goals to that. But start off with 3. Why? Because it is measurable, it is achievable. You have to make sure that goals are formulated realistically, and they should be time-bound, right? And another part of motivation, how it works, right? We need to feel motivated. We need to be able to work towards a reward, to feel some sort of internal satisfaction in order to stay in the path, right? Life is already as complicated as it gets. So we don't want to be distracted along the way. So that's why I focus on 3 high-level goals, right? Write them down here at the top. I call it the goal, right? The goal here in the top in the goal pyramid. And what we're going to do with this framework is we're going to reverse engineer that guy. You probably heard the term reverse engineer, and it's so effective, guys, so effective, because I can tell you my high-level goals, right? But the next follow-up question that you should be asking yourself, what do I need to do? What little action steps do I need to take in order to accomplish that high-level goal? And that's exactly how this framework is designed to do. It's you start with your top level goal. And for this example, I would like to use a financial example. I think, in January, the holidays are behind us. Those are expensive times. And everybody is probably pumped to get back in the game, whether you're in business or you're currently employed, working for a company, or you're a freelancer, right? Everybody can use some extra money in their pocket. And if you haven't achieved it already, I think that 10K monthly income is very realistic. It's something that everybody can achieve, right? Whether you are in a company or you're starting your company or you're already in business, right? So let's run with that number. So imagine writing down 10K here in the top. 10K is your high level monthly goal. Now, then the question is, what do you need to do? How are we going to break this down? So this is where the first step of the goal pyramid comes into play, right? So I call this right here the small milestones. What small milestones do I need to achieve that will lead up to my next set of milestones, which are called the medium milestones? Ultimately, the larger milestones, and if all of these are accomplished, that will help you achieve that 10K monthly income, right? I hope you follow me until this point. I hope that makes sense. So let me give you a couple of examples. So here at the bottom, when we talk about how do we get from where you're currently at, whether you're making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per month, it doesn't matter. Where you're at today, what actions do you need to take that will lead up to the next row, which is called the medium milestones. So a couple of examples are, you could consider paying off your debt, right? So if you have a bunch of credit cards, if you have loans, if you have payments to make, you know that you're accruing interest, right? So you probably want to take a financial deep dive and see, with the current income that I have, how can I save some money by paying off some of the debt? Because besides the primary loan amount that you're currently owed, you are paying interest on top. I hope everybody understands that, right? Or otherwise, that's going to be a topic for another video. But for now, pay off some of the debt, so ultimately that cash flow that you save with that will go towards your monthly income, right? If that makes sense. So paying off some of your debt could be a small milestone here. Make a plan, indicate your financials, and see where you can pay some of this debt back, right? Another thing that you could do is you could actually invest in learning new skills, right? So for a lot of people, education stopped when they finished high school or college, right? But I believe that education is an ongoing process, and it goes on, right, until the day that you die. You'll always want to be curious and want to be learning new things, because the world is changing so rapidly, guys, right? Look, we're in 2020, right? Everybody can probably remember a decade ago, right? 2010. Just think about how, the technology has evolved over time, and a lot of jobs are changing. So as a human being, you have to change within, right? You have to follow along with the trends and see what is happening around you. You cannot be stuck. You cannot be the same person in 2020 and expect different results, right? So learning some new skills is probably the greatest investment that you can make in yourself. So you can put that on the board, right? Learn some new skills. Another thing that you could add is create additional income streams, right? If you're currently having an income, a salary, for example, if you're working for a boss, a company, you're employed, right? You're getting a fixed salary, you're trading time for dollars. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, right? Maybe you offer a service or a product, and in exchange you get some money back, right? So you have a monthly average. So you could consider creating additional products or services that create or produces other additional income streams, right? So expanding your income stream will add more money to your monthly income, right? So that could be another milestone that you have here at the bottom. Finally, investing in networking, right? It's another big one. A lot of people, they actually say I'm not such a social person, you know, I'm not really a networker, I have a problem. And all of that may be true, guys, but the truth is business and creation happens through collaboration, right? The more you exchange, the more you produce, right? Does that make sense? The more you exchange, the more you produce. So invest in your network. And you probably all heard this expression, your net worth is, or your network is your net worth, right? Your network is your net worth. This is totally true, guys. It happened for me. You know, the moment I realized that I need to be among people, I need to invest in my network to see where I can add value, the more it opened doors for me. And the more you exchange, right? The more you exchange value, the more that reciprocates, right? The more of that value comes back. And that value can be in the form of money, right? So invest in your network, invest in people, be among a lot of relationships and exchange value in exchange for money, right? So all of that goes into the bottom row. Now, when you fill this out, right? So now you have a couple of pointers to go into detail. So the next row, the medium milestones, are really meant to be a little bit more specific, right? That's why they're called medium milestones. Those are some of the larger actions that you have to take that will lead up to the large milestones, right? So let's say learning some skills. We talked about this earlier, right? I'm a big believer in education and personal development and ongoing training, right? You always should be innovating to become the best version of yourself. So invest in new skills. So nowadays, there are so many online courses available. There's tremendous value online, and you don't even have to go somewhere physically. You could, you know, invest in a course and then take the course online in your own time, you know, behind your computer and learn some new skills. So that could be on the board right here where you say, okay, I'm going to purchase a online course and I'm going to learn myself some new skills that will add more value to either my company or the clients that I serve or the people that I meet, right? Learning some new skills. Another way is, for example, we talked about creating additional income streams, right? So what could you do? Let's say if you're in a job right now and you work from 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are, right? You could consider adding additional value in the evening, right? So you could say, I have one fixed income right now. I'm trading my time for dollars. So how do I expand my means and my income? I could decide to start teaching at night, right? If there's something I'm passionate about or if there's something I'm knowledgeable about, then I could go and teach that in the evening in exchange for additional dollars, right? So these are just all some examples. You're completely free to brainstorm and to make up your own, right? But I'm thinking you get the point. This is what is here filled out at the medium milestones. Now, moving on to the larger milestones. The larger milestones, guys, are really the one that can make the difference. And usually the larger milestones, they're also the ones that requires more effort. So just to give you a comparison, right? Like if there's a car that is parked, right? And I'm telling you to move this car just with your hands, right? Without any help. I'm asking you to move this car. At the beginning, you're gonna push this car and you're gonna move it, but it feels like concrete, a block of concrete. This car is unable to move. But if I put this car in motion and I push it, you know, I help you push it, and at one point the car starts rolling slowly, right? And now you start accelerating your pace and you see that this car is moving faster and faster, right? It's called momentum, right? That's called momentum. So now you're in this upwards momentum, and that's really how your goals work too. First, you decided on your small action steps, then you accomplish your medium action steps, and now you have momentum on your side, And that's the time where you accomplish these larger milestones, which usually make up 80% of the result, guys, right? You have momentum on your side. Now it's time to nail these larger milestones, because the end result of those actions will be that 10K income, right? And here at the larger milestones, you definitely want to be specific. So, for example, we talked about increasing your source of income, right? It's always a good idea. If you have only one source of income, just get a second and a third, right? Of course, you need to think about those things. You would want to talk to people, be creative, see whatever you can do additionally to increase that income. But one of the ways could be, if you always, like myself, wanted to write a book, guess what? A book is value, right? If you put all your efforts into that book and you know that with your knowledge and your experience and your journey, you can help a lot of people in whatever topic that may be, right? Writing a book is an asset, guys. You can actually sell that book, exchange value, right? So you sell that book in exchange for dollars, because with that value and that knowledge that you packed inside that book, you can actually help other people achieve the same. Right? So you're exchanging value. So writing a book is a big one, but that's why it's considered larger milestones. It will require you more time, more effort, more input, but the results are also so much greater. Write the book, sell the book, supplement your income, right? They all contribute to that 10K monthly income goal that you set in the beginning. Now, another thing, let's say if you're in business or if you are a freelancer, right, and you work with clients one-on-one, consider, you set here in your medium milestones, invest in your network, right? So what does that mean? Invest in your network. You could attend more network communities, meetups. There's so many platforms nowadays where you can get in the room with like-minded people or potential prospects for your business, right? So one of the larger milestones could be for January 2020 and February 2020, close to additional clients per month, right? If you currently have one client or two or three clients, but it's not enough to get to the 10K mark, consider throwing yourself out there, networking, attending meetups, right? And make sure you be specific. How many meetups, how many times per week, right? How many follow-ups, how many business cards do you collect, right? That's all very, very specific and measurable. But consider your large goal could be close additional 2 clients per month from those meetups, from my network initiatives, because it will contribute to that 10K monthly, right? So that kind of concludes the breakdown of the goal pyramid. And here on the side, as you can see, you always want to date it, put a date on that, right? Because a plan without a timeline is still considered a dream, guys. And a dream is a great thing to have. You should be able to dream big and create a vision for it. But if you don't make that measurable and specific and put a time behind it, right? Time bound, then it's still a dream. So make sure you date these and hold yourself accountable, right? Hold yourself accountable to those dates. You will have to create a system for yourself, reward and punishment. Or let's replace that word punishment, call it consequence. Reward and consequence. What do you get for yourself? What do you do for yourself if you manage to accomplish these goals by that date, right? What is your reward? Or on the opposite side, what is the consequence, right? We all thrive on reward and consequence. You need to be held accountable for your own actions. So what is the consequence by not achieving this goal right here, right? Because now you're jeopardizing the rest of your year, because everything is related. You see all those steps, they all lead up to the high level goal here. Another tip for you, if you are not disciplined enough to hold yourself accountable, if you're not gonna honor your own deadlines, get an accountability partner, right? Whether you're in business and you have a partner, just propose the idea to them to hold you accountable. present your plan, present your vision and your goal pyramid to an accountability partner, and ask him or her to hold you accountable for those objectives, right? And together with accountability and holding yourself to, honoring the agreements that you have put inside this framework, you will be able to nail these goals one by one. So just to wrap this up, again, go with 3 goals only. Use this framework to break down 3 of your high-level goals. And I promise you, in 2020, your business and your life will change if you learn how to honor these agreements with yourself. And if not, seek some outside help. Get an accountability partner and present them this concept, right? Because this is the way forward, and this will give you purpose. Allow your goals to pull you forward in 2020. So that's all for now, guys. I hope this adds value here in January 2020. I wish you the best of luck, lots of success and prosperity. I'm excited. So it's time to get back to work right now. So leave me suggestions in the comments. If you have any questions about this framework, leave them in the comments. I will see you in the next video.